All right, let's talk some Justin Fields. Let's talk some Chicago Bears. It's weird because I actually thought the Bears played pretty well offensively. I thought that Fields played pretty well offensively, I guess I should say. There were some issues with the Bears offense as a whole, specifically receivers dropping a lot of passes. That was tough. But I thought Fields played pretty well. So even though they barely scored any points, I still thought that this is a promising game for Fields. Don't let the 3 points on the scoreboard fool you. So, yeah, let's sort of get into the film. I think it's kind of one of a tough game to really, in a film study, show what Fields did well, because really what he did well was he was consistent, which is kind of something we really haven't seen from any of these rookie quarterbacks outside of Mac Jones, is too many games where you're just consistent. Well, Fields had like a consistent, good football game, and so that's nice to see, especially if you're a Bears fan. You got to be really happy with this performance that Fields put in. I think this was Justin Fields' best performance as a whole. He's had better moments, but in terms of like a wire-to-wire, 60 minutes in to 0 minutes in, playing well consistently. So we're going to start off with some negatives, and then let's get into the positives that we saw. All right, let's talk about some, I guess you could call these negatives. I mean, they are, but I don't know if they're massive ones. I'm probably going to be on kind of a bit of I'm not going to blame him as much, I guess is what I would say. What's going to happen here is this is the 2nd down and 11, and it's going to be a design quarterback run to the right. Watch how when Fields takes the snap, he does, fake the handoff right there, takes it to his right. And I think what happened was he just never saw this safety. I don't know why. I don't know what you're looking at here. Or excuse me, it's not a safety, it's a corner, Cameron Dantzler. But I don't know why you don't notice him here. It seems like you probably should. I just think that for whatever reason, Fields was looking at something else. This is obviously very huge because Fields is not securing the ball, so you would like to have 2 hands on it when you create contact, but he just, for whatever reason, didn't see the guy right in front of his face. So as you see, he's going to lose the football. That's been kind of an issue with Justin Fields. Again, kind of a fluky play, though. I don't know how big of a deal I think that is, but still something you would have liked to see him not do. I think that's fair, but again, I always find these plays kind of fluky. Like, how often is that really going to happen? I don't think very frequent. This plays another one where this is the definition of kind of a learning experience for Fields, where what's going to happen is it's going to be a halfback is going to run out. It's going to be a halfback screen, and you're going to see that the edge rusher is going to run in, and he's going to be unblocked. That's intentional. It's a screen pass. You let him come in, and then you throw it over the top, and you have an extra blocker because no one's blocking the edge rusher when you go further down the field. I think one of the issues with this for Fields is he doesn't want to just look to the halfback right away, which is smart. You don't want to look right away. I think he's just going to hold on to this ball for a beat too long. Watch. He's going to hold on to it for, I'm going to pause it 2 seconds into the play. So I know it doesn't feel like too long when you have a play like that, but that's how long it was. 2 seconds into this play. And for Justin Fields, at this point, he kind of has to be throwing it. I think it was just a half second too long. These are the small things that you learn playing in the NFL. I don't really consider this a big deal. Long term, short term, sure, you'd have liked to see him look away already. But at this point, he still doesn't even, hasn't even looked at where the edge rusher is. So when Fields turns his head, he's surprised and ends up just getting sacked. So that one looks bad, but again, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Is it a negative? Yes. Do you have to put it in the negative category? Yes. Is it a big deal? I don't think so. Like, one more negative. Also, I realized, why am I starting off with just negatives? I don't know why I'm doing this, because there was a lot of positives, but this is just the way I organize these clips when I'm making my video. Regardless, what's happening here, I've circled a tight end who's blocking an edge rusher. Fields knows this is happening. This was a play action, so this was an intentional thing that they're doing right here. So you kind of got to know, okay, pressure could come at any moment. And this is another kind of one of those lessons, I think, where Fields is a bit used to being the most athletic guy on the field at any time, and that's not always the case in the NFL. In fact, that's rarely the case. Everyone's a great athlete, and this is just kind of another one of those learning experiences for Fields. Look, he kind of tries to take off without even really being at a full speed and just is surprised that he gets chased down that quickly. Again, that's the NFL as opposed to college. This is why you play as a rookie, so you learn this stuff and don't make it as a second-year player. Also, this play, just real quick, this is not on Fields, so it looks like a missed pass. This was a miscommunication. I mean, maybe it was on Fields, but it wasn't an inaccurate pass is what I mean. It was a miscommunication with him and his halfback, so whoever's fault it was, I don't know, but that wasn't a missed throw, even though it looks like it's a missed throw. Okay, now let's get into some positives. So sorry it took me so long. There were some positives. I thought he did a great job, actually, of running this Bears offense, and this is a good example. It's going to be zone coverage, and Fields is going to run a play action to the offense's left, and then he's going to roll out to the right. And this play is really just a staple of the Matt Nagy offense. You want to basically hit that middle route, that's running from the left to the right. That's kind of where you want to go here. As you see, when Fields takes the snap, he is going to roll out to his right. And what you see is that, so at this point, he's running to his right. And this throw, when you watch it kind of just once, it looks like he's hitting a wide open guy, but he's not really. I mean, there's two Minnesota players that he's going to have to fit it in between to get it past them and hit the open guy. And remember, he's in motion right here. So this is not an easy throw for Fields to make. It really isn't. However, Fields still does make the throw. He puts it looks a little bit low as well, and kind of a little bit behind his receiver, but he's trying to throw it behind his receiver. He's throwing it in between the two defenders, not necessarily to his receiver. That's what you want to do there. This is a really good play from Justin Fields. This is a high degree of difficulty play that he's pulling off. So it's not just the easy stuff he's pulling off, although he did do a great job at that. Of course, there's stuff like this, which this just such a huge aspect of Fields' game is the running game. Like, the running game does so much, where this is a 3rd down and 3, and so you're obviously making sure you don't give up anything quick, but you have to basically change how you pass rush when you're going up against Justin Fields, because if you don't, he'll just do this. Fields is going to take the snap. He sees that he has a running lane, and he just takes it. I love that stuff. People always say, oh, you got to make sure that when you always make sure that you look to throw first. If there's a running lane open and it's 3rd down and 3, take the running lane. I have no problem with that. Again, I could go on and on. I really could with the positives that we saw from Fields. I know I only showed a couple, so some people might be mad at me for showing more negatives than positives. But I think I kind of disproved the negatives more so than I was talking about the negatives. And the positives, there's a couple of those. There's a lot of those. Like it's a lot of those types of plays of him making. Usually it was kind of the throws I expect you to make, but that's still a pretty good skill to have as a young quarterback. That's all Mac Jones does, is he makes the throws that you're supposed to make. I mean, quite frankly, that's all like Kirk Cousins does, is he makes the throws you're supposed to make. You do that, just that alone, you're like a top 16 quarterback in the NFL, just doing that. So there's a lot I liked about what I saw from Fields. I think that, again, weird game. I think you could argue that, like, okay, I thought that was, that should have been a touchdown at the end there. So that was interesting. But as a whole, if that's a touchdown, his numbers look a little better, all of that stuff. I know people might look at the box score and say, oh, only 3 points. Guess Fields sucked again. No, I thought he played well. This is why you watch the tape instead of just look at numbers. And I think his box score stats were even all right. But regardless, very good game from Fields, I think. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What were your thoughts? I mean, hey, also give credit to the Vikings. They did win this football game. Bears aren't great. We already know that. But yeah, fun game. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Actually, one more thing. I wanted to make sure I mentioned this as well. I think Fields has to protect himself better. I do. I know that some people are going to sit here and say, well, there were some tough hits, like people are hitting him too hard, all of this stuff. I think he has to go down. And when he goes down, go down. I think that he's inviting a lot of this contact, like that one where he took a knee real quick and then got tackled. I know he was mad that, there wasn't an initial flag. There eventually was one. But it's like, guys are going to hit you when you do stuff like that. You'll get the flag, so maybe it's worth it, but I'd rather have a healthy quarterback than I would getting a 15-yard penalty, unless maybe it's the Super Bowl or something. Like you gotta protect yourself a little better. But again, hopefully he'll learn and grow from that stuff. And to some degree, part of what people like about him is his playmaking ability. Well, those are kind of tied together. Never saying die works both ways. But yeah, that's what I thought of Fields' performance. What did you guys think? I already kind of did my outro, so goodbye.